is going to start alongside him on the front row of the starting grid, and obviously the local fans here in the Czech Republic really want to see him do well as the Hageman Racing team, who are supported and aided by the former world champion Patrik Hayek, who is here in the paddock this weekend. It's great to see Tobias Cisenyi right up there in the higher echelons of qualifying, and they're very proud of what he's been able to achieve so far this weekend. Can he keep himself in the hunt? That's going to be the main factor. And can Bondarev make it 3 wins out of 3? He's there on a pole position alongside Tobias Cisenyi, then Jack Eiliff and Scott Lindblom from Mateusz Orjuela and David Kozma, Roman Kamiab and Gabriel Kunekan from Filippo Sala and Oliver Kinmark, Andy Consani, Alex Chartier, Sebastian Letimaki and Tame Saleh from Kimitani and Davide Bottaro, Al Paksoy and Jason Bralic from Alfons Miettinen and Tobias Pashko, Lukas Zabruchnik and Morgan Knudsen from Jan Stenschel and Adam Sidor, Mattes Reiber and Sebastian Kolpeng are the ones that finish off the starting grid here. But Oleksandr Bondarev versus Tobias Cisenyi, that's going to be a really interesting charge down to the first corner, as several contenders are going to be trying their luck into turn 1.
Yes, indeed. And we saw Cisenyi out earlier on in the weekend and, you know, really struggled a little bit, fell down the order as well. So hopefully this time around he can have a better start to this race. But Bondarev, Eiliff as well, Jack Eiliff, fresh from his injury, of course, with his hurt arm. He's coming back fighting fit now and has actually been putting in some decent races and some decent performances out there. Oh dear, that's a car that stopped. It's the is that the 281? It is.
That's Roman Kamiab.
Oh no.
Roman Kamiab, who's been having his best weekend in the FIA karting so far in terms of his qualifying pace. He was due to start this race from 7th on the grid.
What a disaster. And that, you know, it's such a horrible feeling. And when you're watching them as well, you feel so helpless as well, don't you?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I haven't done much racing, but I have done a couple of outings in the Stockskart Championship back in the UK. And on the formation lap of one of those races, I broke down before the race even got underway. So I know the frustration, the pain and the anxiousness of, you know, I didn't even get the chance to show what I can do. Are we going to go racing again, or are we going to be a false start? We are. Yeah. So that was called quite early on. I think everybody was aware of the fact, you know what? We've had that breakdown. We need to go around again. But yeah, you really feel for Roman Kamiab there, because you're sat there in the car for a brief moment, and you think, you know, I just need a break. I just need to have a chance to show what I can do. You can't kick me off this early on, and you just feel so bitter. You feel so annoyed with the situation. You don't know who to blame. You don't know what to do in this situation. You don't know whether to throw your toys out the pram or just walk away dejected. It's such a frustrating situation. There's nothing worse, I think, for a racing driver than to go out on the formation lap before you've even had a chance to prove what you can do.
Yeah, nothing worse, is there? Nothing worse. Well, the drivers will make their way around the track and will get themselves formed up once again. The start last time called off. Grid very spread out, I think. Everyone eager to get going. So hopefully this time around the group will be bunched up and will be ready to get going racing this time around. Remember, Bondarev starting on the outside, Cisenyi on the inside line there. Let's see what happens as they go into the tram lines, and the lights do go out. It's a great start from Bondarev, who gets down in towards turn 1 first, and the same as the rest of them. Eiliff goes through, Orjuela goes through as well. Cisenyi caught sleeping there, drops down the field. So good start then from that inside row as Bondarev leads the way, and it's comfortable with the start. The rest of the pack just in the background trying to squeeze their way through. Everyone gets through nice and cleanly. 3 wide in the background, but a good start nonetheless as everyone, again, just finding their piece of track. Cisenyi under pressure here. He's really dropping down the field. That's David Kozma who's battling with way down in the order. Lindblom's got through as well. So, big shake-ups in the field.
Yeah, sadly, Cisenyi all the way down to 7th position on the first lap. Not the best of starts, unfortunately. We'll have to pick up on that one a little bit later on again. But 10 laps completed at the end of the OK Junior qualifying heats. So it's obviously going to be a tricky one to now stretch away. But Bondarev has got Jack Eiliff in behind him. Mateusz Orjuela into 3rd position off the start. Sala with a good launch in 4th from Consani, Lindblom, Cisenyi, Kozma, Kunekan, Tani and Letimaki. So everybody on the even side of the grid really lost out there by Cisenyi not quite getting the launch he wanted, and it's very much helped out everybody on the odd side of the grid as the battle continues on its way. But Bondarev running well in front of Jack Eiliff and Mateusz Orjuela for the second.
Indeed. So 10 laps these races, and already your top 3 with a nice little breakaway there. Eiliff, Eiliff going in very hot there. I don't know if he missed the braking zone slightly, but he did look like he made the apex later on. But very quick into the corner there. I'd say Orjuela not able to capitalise on that moment there. Stays behind in P3. Crucially, I want to see how Filippo Sala's doing there in the Sodi kart just behind. Looking at the gap, 7/10 of a second between himself and Orjuela, as two drivers under investigation, the 217 and the 230 out on track. Now, where are they? Well, Filippo Sala's one of them under investigation, and Sebastian Lettermarchi also under investigation. Now, what has caused that? Was it the start? Because we're only early doors here, but Filippo Sala, who you can see on your screen in the Sodi kart, the gold helmet design going down compression, under investigation.
Yeah, it's not a great start for the German, is it? You don't want to be running that gauntlet this early on in the race. 208 with a warning flag, I think, as well. I don't know whether Oh, the 230 under investigation, I should say, sorry.
Yeah, that's Filippo Sala.
It is Filippo Sala, yeah, so we did point that one out. So, yeah, the top five, all from the odd side of the grid, and able to run relatively close to Bondarev, but Bondarev just seems to have good rhythm. The top three have got well clear. Filippo Sala has got Andy Consani and Scott Lindblom coming with him for good measure. Tobias Cisenyi, unfortunately, has now fallen away to 10th place. He's got Cosma got through, Koenikan got through, and Kimitani, who's made up 6 places, along with Andy Consani, who's also done the same thing. He's got through as well. So Cisenyi, unfortunately, down to 10th position. Let's look at Cisenyi. Look, he's on the far side. You're right, he just got caught sleeping, and Lindblom was trying to get him to go a little bit quicker. It's like, come on, we're losing traction here, we're losing ground. There's not really a lot that can be done. You need to get that fraction of a second faster throttle application off the final turn, and it just all fell away. Look how congested it got in the mid-pack on that opening lap. Everybody just about staying away from danger. But certainly for Tobias Cisenyi, very frustrating knowing that you're battling away with people who essentially have managed to get the jump on you.
Yeah, indeed. Not a nice thing to see. Oliver Kinmark picks himself up a warning flag. The 255 out there currently in 17th place. Race control keeping a close eye on him down there. Filippo Sala not closing in on the group in front. He's actually got Consani all over his rear bumper as Lindblom dives down the inside of Consani. So that now gives a bit of breathing space for Filippo Sala, who now tries to break away. Cosma's still there, Koenikan's still there. Tani as well. So Cheney's dropped down to P10 now. He's behind this big group that you can see on your screens. So Lindblom now with the chance to go after Filippo Sala. The gap between this battle that we're seeing here and the battle further up is about 1.3 seconds. So there is a big chunk of real estate between this group and the trio up in front.
It certainly is. Bondarev, Eilif, Orjuela, Sala, and now Lindblom having got through on Consani. So Andy Consani on the Paralin, trying to continue his efforts here in front of David Cosma. Andy Consani making good steps after 2 weeks ago, really struggling. He's definitely trying to follow in his father Robert's footsteps. Robert was a winner in sports cars at Monza a few weeks ago, and now he's hoping that Andy can pick up the pace and go for the moves himself. Cosma, big launch on the inside of Consani. Consani run out of road as through comes Koenikan in the same breath. That was very daring, and Koenikan goes again. Brilliant reactions from the Brazilian, Gabriel Koenikan, really starting to pick out those moments. And that is a very audacious set of overtakes from Koenikan, one after the other after the other.
Well, you take advantage of the situation that's been unfolded in front of you. The gap was there, it presented itself, and I think, you've got to go for it, especially when you're so close and packed up like that. So I think good driving there from Koenikan, the Brazilian. Moves up into P6 now behind these two who are still battling, Lindblom and Sala. Sala under pressure, was looking quick in the early stages, seems to have dropped off the pace a little bit there as Bondarev sets the fastest lap of the race. We might see a move here as straight away there. Yeah, Sala starting to defend early doors here and is right onto the back bumper, and Lindblom's just saying, what are you doing? You're backing us up. We need to try and close up to the group in front.
This is a very defensive stance from Filippo Sala, but Lindblom doesn't want to sit here any longer than he has to. Is he going to make the overtaking move? No, he can't.
No.
Because Sala is just keeping that road firmly blocked. He can't make a move. Filippo Sala clearly of the opinion, I can't get much more out of this than 4th position. This is my limit. But Scott Lindblom trying to get through. And what's going to happen now is you're going to have Lindblom caught by Koenikan, Koenikan caught by Cosma, Cosma caught by Tani. One of them is going to get impatient and say, come on, get past Filippo Sala, get on with it. And that's when, depending on who decides to go for the move nice and early, they're essentially going to create a chain reaction around them. So it just depends on who's got the shortest fuse.
Well, I mean, Kerneken, we've seen him go for those moves left, right and centre if he's got them available. And again, you saw there, Lindblom really tried to hold that inside line there to get down the inside. But Salah just managing to hold on to it. Down compression they go. And I think we have seen the moves into this corner. Not this time, as this group of 5 karts very, very close as they go back up the hill now. Not real many opportunities to overtake through this final sector. We have seen overtakes in this final sector, but in this sort of situation, I feel like they might just stay behind. And they do as they make their way back onto the start-finish straight. So Filippo Sala holds on for another lap out there. Can he do it 2 more times to maintain that 4th place finish?
Lindblom is really under pressure now. Kerneken is all over the back of him. Come on, will you overtake that Sodi kart before I overtake you? As they come through down the drop. This is now on Lindblom to make the bid. But again, Salah defends valiantly. Watch for Cosma. He's now going to try and get his move on Kerneken. 2 laps to go. You better move, because there's a whole train forming behind. Tame Soleil, Tobias Chizenyi, and Adi Konsani have all joined the cavalry. This is going to be a tricky one. Someone's got to go for it. Cosma trying to force the issue on Kerneken. Will you get a move on?
I mean, this is an interesting drive from the entire field here. Salah doing a brilliant job of just holding that track position. And again, like you say, it's very tricky to overtake around this circuit, but it can be done. We've seen it done. There's the first 3 going through. Wait for it. Here comes the rest of the field. Wow, look at this as we go on to the final lap. Look how many karts Salah is holding up here.
But that's how much time they're losing. They're losing a second a lap minimum to the karts in front. Kerneken again sliding in on Lindblom. Lindblom is doing everything he can to get through, but Salah is placing the Sodi kart in exactly the right place. He's like a wasp at a picnic. He's everywhere you don't want him to be, hugging that inside line again. Tries one more time, Lindblom, can't get through, so one of the drivers in the back of the queue is now going to try and have a look at it. Chizenyi makes a move, stick on the inside of Tame Soleil as they go through the compression. Soleil gets back in front. No, you don't. It's not going to happen. And Salah somehow is keeping this Sodi kart parked to the inside. He's got a warning flag for it. You are blocking everybody. Now the opportunity is going to come in from Kansani to get through as he makes the overtake. And across the line, it is Bondarev that gets the win up front from Eilif and Orjuela. And then quite a few seconds back now, Filippo Sala is going to come through. He's been given a warning flag for it. You can't defend, you can't block like that too religiously with that many laps to go. But Filippo Sala has converted it into a 4th place with a massive amount of frustration from Lindblom, Kerneken, Cosma, Tani, Saleh, Chizenyi and Chartier. They are all fuming at him.
You could say the rest of the grid, really.
You really could, couldn't you?
But what a drive that was. I mean, well, Bondarev did exactly what he needed to do. Won that one by 1.3 seconds from Jack Eilif and Mateusz Orjuela, who I don't think had any idea what was going on behind them. And Filippo Sala, I am amazed he was able to hold that position for so long.
Same, yeah, absolutely same. I mean, if you looked at his sector times by comparison to Bondarev on the last lap, Bondarev did a 15.3, Sala did a 15.6. In the second split, Bondarev got the fastest sector of the race in Sector 2, 18.6, compared to Sala on a 19.2. Oh, poor Roman Kamyab. So destitute after dropping out of the race before it even got going. Yeah, let's help me get it back to the pit. He's just lost all interest now, unfortunately. It's so demoralising. And then Bondarev's final 3rd sector was a 19.6 compared to Filippo Sala on a 19.9. So he was just hemorrhaging time. Bondarev, Eilif, Orjuela, that's your top 3. Filippo Sala somehow hangs on to 4th place in front of Scott Lindblom, Gabriel Kerneken, David Cosma, Kimi Tani, Tame Soleil, Tobias Chizenyi, Alex Chartier, and Alphonse Miettinen, who were the closest to him. Andy Konsani, Sebastian Letimaki, and Davide Batara were not far away by the end of the race either. Alpak Soy, a very frustrating weekend so far from the young Turkish driver for Tony Kart. Sebastian Kopeng recovering to 17th in front of Lukas Obruchnik, Oliver Kinmark, and managing to hold on to 4th. Here's the start again. Look at Chizenyi to the left of your picture. He's already lost the momentum, and that's the problem. You've got 5 karts to the right side, to the left side of you, sorry. He's on the curb. He's lost a little bit of traction, and unfortunately, any chance of the win by now for Chizenyi has already evaporated.
Yeah, again, it's not the best way to start the race, is it? Being swamped by the pack. Then it was a bit congested in the background, and we started to see little overtakes here and there as everyone just trying to squeeze their way through, and Chizenyi, again, just getting pipped to the apexes in most of the positions. Lindblom making moves further back. He managed to get up into that top sort of section behind Filippo Sala for P5. And then, well, really, this is where it all started. It was Filippo Sala who was leading the essentially the rest of the grid. And yeah, he managed to just hold on to it all the way back. And you can see the frustration there from Lindblom, just saying, come on, go, go, go. What are you doing?
Shaking his fist in the air. It's like, why are we even racing if you're just going to park it on the inside line and not let anybody go for it? But the frustration bubbling over for Scott Lindblom, for Filippo Sala in 4th position. That's the limit he could have got from that race as far as he's concerned. So that's why